Have you ever wondered why some people seem to have no friends? Society often views a lack of friends as a negative trait. But what if I told you it reveals something deeper? What if these people, who appear alone, are actually guarding themselves from a history filled with heartbreaks, betrayals, and disappointments? This video will explore how a person's past can shape their present relationships, and why their lack of friends says much more than meets the eye. Friendships are often viewed as fundamental to a fulfilling life. They offer support, companionship, and love. However, the journey to finding true, authentic friendship can be fraught with challenges. Many who find themselves without close friends have experienced the darker side of relationships, betrayal, disappointment, and the painful realization that not all friendships are what they seem. Imagine someone who has been hurt one too many times. They trusted, they gave, and in return, they were met with lies, deceit, or neglect. Over time, these experiences change a person. Their trust becomes guarded, and they begin to see friendships not as diamonds, but as fleeting connections that can cause more harm than good. It's a sentiment captured by a man who once said, "Friendship is like a rare diamond. It's expensive and rare, but there are a lot of fakes." After being hurt too many times, I began to think there are no real diamonds left in the world, only counterfeits. The cost of disappointment. We live in a world where the idea of friendship is romanticized, often portrayed as a lifelong bond. However, reality can be far different. When trust is broken, it leaves emotional scars. Betrayal can turn an idealist into a cynic, someone who once believed in the purity of friendship, but has been forced to shield themselves from further pain. This theme is echoed in the writings of Haruki Murakami. In his novel Norwegian Wood, a character is asked, "Do you like loneliness?" The response, "I don't like being alone, I just don't want to be disappointed in people." For some, loneliness becomes a choice, a shield against the potential pain that relationships can bring. The Boy and the Apple Tree, a story of trust and betrayal. There's a timeless story that beautifully illustrates this journey from trust to heartbreak, the tale of a little boy and an apple tree. Once upon a time, a young boy made friends with a tree. The boy would swing from its branches, eat its apples, and enjoy the cool shade it provided. The tree was happy, believing it had found a loyal friend. As time passed, the boy grew up and visited the tree less frequently, yet the tree remained hopeful that their bond would endure. One day the boy returned, but he wasn't the same carefree child. He was burdened by life's struggles. "I need money," he told the tree. "Everyone around me has wealth, and I have nothing." The tree, eager to help, offered its apples, saying, "Take these apples and sell them. Then you will be happy again." The boy did just that and left, not returning for many years. When he eventually returned, the tree was overjoyed, but the boy's joy had long since faded. "I need a house," he said. "Everyone has families and homes, but I have nowhere to live." Once again, the tree offered what it had, telling the boy to cut off its branches and build a house. The boy took the branches and built a home, but once again left the tree behind, forgotten. Years passed, and the boy, now a man, returned. This time he was broken, weary of life. "I need a boat to escape," he said. "I'm tired of everything." The tree, with only its stump left, offered the last it had, its trunk. The man cut it down, built his boat, and sailed away. The once magnificent apple tree was reduced to nothing, a mere stump, having given everything for a friend who only returned when he needed something. What this story teaches us. The boy and the apple tree illustrate a common pattern in friendships. Some people give endlessly in relationships, offering everything they have, emotionally, mentally, even physically, only to be taken for granted. Over time, after being used and discarded, like the tree, they begin to guard themselves. They stop believing in the authenticity of friendships because they've been drained by people who only come around when they need something. For someone who has been hurt like the apple tree, the easiest path is to build walls. They no longer trust easily, and they no longer give freely. They protect themselves, not because they don't want friends, but because they don't want to be the stump in someone else's life, used and then abandoned. The hidden reasons behind solitude. So why does a lack of friends often indicate a person has many hidden reasons? The truth is that people who lack friendships might not be socially inept or unfriendly. They might simply be tired of being hurt. Friendship requires vulnerability, and after a certain point, Some people decide that the risk isn't worth it. They've been the apple tree for too long and learned that true friendships are rare and giving too much only leads to heartache. George Carlin, the famous comedian, once said, "Inside every cynical person there is a disappointed idealist." Cynicism often hides pain, and those who appear distant may have once been deeply idealistic about relationships. Over time, though, repeated disappointments turn that idealism into caution. For them, being alone is not a sign of weakness but a reflection of their experiences. The strength in standing alone. Choosing to stand alone doesn't mean someone is weak or incapable of forming connections. In fact, it can be a sign of strength. It means they've learned to protect their energy and prioritize their well-being. They understand that not every relationship is worth the emotional investment, and sometimes solitude is better than being surrounded by people who don't value you. This doesn't mean they don't crave connection. It simply means they've become more selective. They've learned to wait for genuine relationships rather than settling for those who drain their energy. Final thoughts. A lack of friends reveals many stories. A lack of friends can tell many stories. It doesn't always mean that a person is cold, distant, or unfriendly. Instead, it often reveals a past filled with disappointment and hurt. It shows a person who has been the apple tree for far too long, giving everything and receiving little in return. The next time you meet someone who seems to walk through life alone, don't rush to judgment. Instead, consider the possibility that they've simply been hurt too many times. They might have been the apple tree, giving and giving until they had nothing left. Now they choose to protect their energy, their heart, and their peace. If you are someone who has been hurt by friendships in the past, remember this: you are not alone. Many people have been the apple tree in their relationships, but that doesn't mean you should lose hope in finding real connections. Be patient, be selective, and most importantly, learn to value yourself. True friendships do exist, but they're rare, like diamonds. And just like diamonds, they're worth the wait. What's your experience with friendships? Have you ever felt like the apple tree, giving too much and receiving too little? Share your thoughts in the comments below and let's start a conversation about the true nature of friendship. Until next time, take care of your health and parents. Do subscribe our channel, Inspiring Arc, and like this video. Thanks for watching.